So we finally get to the last video, the end of the Holiday Humbug series. Keep in mind that in the next 12 days, you're going to see the OTRSCentral 12 Days of Christmas, and that hopefully should be some fun. This series has been fun, I guess, but we get to the most fun video of all to do. We'll get to the most fun topic today. And you know, I could sit there and say humbug this and humbug that, but really, truly, ultimately, it's the WWE that has given us the great big humbug. Straight up our keisters on this one. Yeah. You know, it's one of these things. And I understand. I'm with the internet community on this one. How many times do we need to see these two assholes face off against each other? How many times do we need to see John Cena versus Randy Orton? It's not 2007. It's not 2009. You've been down this road over and over and over and over again. So at some point in time, the decision is made to go back to it again. Like people are going to forget, and people all of a sudden really are going to care about it and give a shit about it. I mean, that really to me represents and epitomizes just how out of touch the WWE is with the wrestling audience in general today. Not just the internet fans. Screw us sometimes. We're a part of the overall wrestling fan picture, but we're a small part, definitely not the majority. But even your casual and your mainstream fans. You know, let's take somebody that hasn't watched for a couple of years, and this happens, and all of a sudden they say, you know, I haven't watched in a long time. Let's see what we turn to. And then they look and they see John Cena and Randy Orton face off, square off in the middle of the ring, hyping up a match for the next pay-per-view. You know what that person's going to say? I've been down this road before. I don't want to see these two assholes wrestle anymore. That's why I stopped watching. Click. 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 Period. And the thing that really bothers me about this is that this fact that they're having John Cena versus Randy Orton here, and they're having to do this unification match at TLC, it bothers me on so many different levels. And it's just so ridiculous. And it's just so damn stupid. Now, in the interest of fairness, I do need to point out that I have mentioned before on many, many occasions, and those of you that have watched me for a while know I have mentioned, I think for a couple of years now, the fact that they needed to entertain the thought of having John Cena versus Randall Keith Orton at WrestleMania 30. They're the two biggest stars of their generation. They've become the two franchise pieces, the two pillars of the company. Not the Punks, not the Daniel Bryans. You're talking about over a longer period of time, more time at the top, more emphasis, more money, more push, more of the Titan Tower marketing machine put behind them. It's been John Cena and Randy Orton. And I did argue that at WrestleMania 30, you needed to have a who's best match. You needed to have who's the best of the generation. Because it opened up a lot of potential possibilities here. Didn't need to have any titles. This is about bragging rights, and this is about this. And I do feel that even with all of the times that they've wrestled and how tired or people got over the years of seeing these a-holes wrestle each other time after time after time after time, that there was still potential to draw some money out of these two guys feuding one last time, culminating in one huge match at WrestleMania 30. But the WWE couldn't even wait that long. I mean, this is bad on stupid on so many different levels. It's stupid from the standpoint of, look at the writing of this television show over the past few months. You were going from Daniel Bryan feuding with Randy Orton and also Triple H to now Daniel Bryan is feuding with the Wyatt family. You went from Big Show being broke and being basically held hostage by Stephanie McMahon and Triple H, ultimately being fired by them, only to come back to going after Randy Orton, to now we've just like completely forgotten about that story. You basically, all of a sudden it feels like literally for no real reason at the last minute decided, no, this is the direction we need to go. We need to have John Cena versus Randy Orton unification match here at TLC. This is stupid. This is incredibly ridiculous. You want to know how incredibly ridiculous it is? I don't give a fuck whether it was in Seattle, Washington, or Timbuktu. The crowd on Monday night, and lots of crowds over the past several weeks, and lots of crowds over the past few months, are trying to tell you, the live event crowd, so this is not just people like me, not just the know-it-alls like me, not just the snakes like me. These are the people that are also going to your events. These are the people that are going to your shows. They aren't all like me. In fact, most of them are the casual and mainstream wrestling fan that go to these live events. There are people like me, yes, sometimes the loudest and most vocal, but you have an overwhelming large percentage are the casual and mainstream wrestling fans. And they are chanting for Daniel Bryan as you are trying to hype up John Cena versus Randy Orton and this big, awesome, once-in-a-lifetime, 305 times over match at TLC. How stupid is that? The crowd right now, your live event crowd, which is incredibly important, you would think, to your overall company's bottom line, is indicating to you that they are rebelling against what you were trying to force down their throats. They are telling you that they do not want this. And this is not being done in a good way to say, oh, you make the people really get behind them and make them really want it. No, they're getting fucking pissed off because they're feeling like their intelligence is being insulted, that what they want isn't being given to them. They're having their fucking feelings hurt. They want to see this guy in this spot. If you were going to have a unification match right here, right now, why in the hell couldn't it have been Daniel Bryan versus John Cena at TLC? That would be a big-time money-drawing match for this company in its current construction today. You could have had Daniel Bryan be the WWE champion. You could have had John Cena win the World Heavyweight Championship. There's story there. You know, this goes back to Cena bringing back Daniel Bryan at SummerSlam 2010. This goes back to SummerSlam 2013 when John Cena lost clean to Daniel Bryan. There are so many possibilities with that type of match that instead you went with the Breakfast Club main event of John Cena versus Randy Orton. You know, when you look at this match, this represents so many things to me of why wrestling used to be outstanding, used to be great, could be again, but clearly isn't going to be unless dramatic changes are made based off of the direction that, in particular, the WWE is headed and where they've been going for a long period of time. I understand Vince's philosophy of when times are a little tough and the business isn't exactly booming, you're going to play it safe and you're not going to necessarily take a ton of chances and you're going to go with the guys that are the known proven commodities because while they might have a little bit lower ceiling, they have a much higher floor. There's less wiggle room in terms of how much variance there's going to be in your overall company's bottom line as opposed to with the CM Punk, he might have a similar height ceiling or a little higher ceiling, but he might have a much lower floor. Same thing with the Daniel Bryan or so many other guys. I get that. I understand that. I understand playing it safe. But Jesus effing Christ. You look at the WWE and you look at Vince K. McMahon. This man has been the ultimate risk taker. You could say for every 4 or 5 things he's taken a risk on and completely fell flat on his face and failed with, and when he hits on that one, he really hits that mother humper right out of the park. I'd rather fail 5 times to have one big success than to not fail at all and to have middling levels of success. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. And that's to me what this ultimately represents is nothing ventured, nothing gained. It feels like it's the same old shit. When you're watching that main event segment on Raw Monday night, it's about Shawn Michaels and it's about Triple H and it's about Randy Orton. It's about John Cena. It's about the fucking Breakfast Club. How many years does it still have to be about the fucking Breakfast Club? How many years does it have to be about these guys being in the top spot and not doing anything to help elevate anybody to a top spot? And don't sit there and tell me, oh, John Cena put over Daniel Bryan. Well, they made sure to emphasize the fact that his arm was hurt. So even if it's clean, it wasn't really fully clean. And now a few months later, when you know damn good and well, people like John Cena and Randy Orton, in the way that the WWE has always been run, the top guys call the shots. Not Vince. Don't give me that shit about Vince calls the shots. The top guys call the shots. Hogan calls the shots. Shawn and Brett, the Clique, they called the shots. Austin called the shots. Rock called the shots. You're going to tell me now all of a sudden that Cena and Orton don't call the fucking shots? Listen to the crowd. They're telling you what they want. What they're telling you they want is not what they're fucking getting. Look at how the crowd shit all over the Survivor Series main event. That match was bad and the people resented it and they didn't give a shit about it. That's how you turn away people. That's how you piss off the audience. Is that really a good way to run your business, is to piss off your audience? How many times can you do that before you start to getting diminishing gate receipts and diminishing ratings? And oh wait, in general, the WWE has gotten a lot of diminishing ratings and diminishing gate receipts from their live events for several years now. Hence why they have to make these pathetic money grabs to go after additional revenue streams, because they're not doing a good enough job of managing the business that's already at hand. And this is a perfect example of it. It demonstrates the horrendous writing evident in WWE today. It is evident of the terrible character development in the WWE. Even when the WWE comes up with good characters, they don't develop them very well. This demonstrates the clear lack of understanding of booking. And what I mean by that is the progression of people up the card and the elevating and creating and making of new stars. Because even if you want to say that CM Punk and Daniel Bryan are top guys in the company today, that's an argument you can have, and they might be top guys in the company today. But what the hell exactly does that mean in the WWE of 2013? How much does that really mean? That could still mean very little mainstream name recognition, among other things. That could still mean not a whole lot of star power. That could mean you're not doing a lot to grow your business. You're not drawing additional money. You're not bringing new eyeballs on the product. And that's what's happening here. You couldn't even sit here and wait until the Royal Rumble to do this. Give it some more time. Tease it a little bit more. Cultivate it. Develop it. It's like, oh, we'll tease it at Survivor Series, and then bam, it's in your face at the end of the show. Let's forget the match ever fucking happened. Then bam, we're right into it. Not even a tease. There's no suspense to this. It's just they bust their nut right away, all in what? The short-term panic of trying to sell as many pay-per-views as they can with TLC. When you think about it in the business world, if you're only operating week to week or month to month, you're never really going to accomplish anything. It's just like personally. If you live paycheck to paycheck, week to week, how far ahead do you get in life? You're never really going to get anywhere. And anybody that's ever lived like that knows this and understands this, comprehends it, and gets it. You have to have a plan. Where are you going to be 6 months, a year, 18 months, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road? That has to be the emphasis. Sometimes you have to make short-term sacrifices for long-term gains. But it seems like clearly the WWE has no intention of ever doing that. And why? It's the whole curse of being a publicly traded company, so they have to please the fucking shareholders, the stockholders. You got to please the board. You got to sit there and do everything you can to deliver the crappiest good dividend you possibly can right here and now. At some point in time, you have to do what's best for business. And sometimes that might mean pissing off the shareholders. It might mean that. And sometimes you have to do that if it's in the long-term interest of the company. Do you think your shareholders want to continue to get the dividends that they're currently getting? Or would they rather be getting the dividends that they could have gotten back during the Attitude Era? Or even back, 7, 8 years ago? Would they rather have those dividends? Would they rather see a company that's infrastructure is more solid overall? That's what I wonder. And when you look at John Cena versus Randy Orton, this is the example of the two best guys of their generation. If you really sit there and think about it, these are supposed to be the two best guys of their generation. These are really the two last lone wolves from that, OVW class back in the day, because Brock's only part-time and Batista's not around anymore. And you look at it and you say, oh my God, these are the two best? Randy Orton sure as hell is no household name. Randy Orton sure as hell is no all-time great. John Cena, even as much as the WWE tries to pound him and cram him, is he really a household name? He might be the most well-known everyday mainstream star in the WWE, but how really well-known is he on a mainstream household name type of basis? And he's definitely, to me at this point, still not an all-time great, no matter how much the WWE tries to convince you otherwise and pound him into that fucking spot. These are the two best guys of this generation. This represents so many things about what's wrong with the WWE today. Humbug on the WWE for not even being able to wait for this, not even being able to wait for the Royal Rumble. Humbug on the WWE for not having the two biggest stars of their generation at least face off one-on-one at WrestleMania without having wrestled. We've seen these guys wrestle hundreds of fucking times. How many more times do we need to see this? At least if you're going to do that, do it at your biggest show of the year, your 30th anniversary WrestleMania, where you've still never to this day had these two guys face off one-on-one at WrestleMania. I tell you, at this point, the last thing I want to see is have you drag out a long-ass feud between these two a-holes to where they do wrestle at WrestleMania 30, but they've already wrestled 5, 6 different freaking matches in the meantime. It's what you did in 2007. It's what you did in 2009. It's what turned off a lot of people to your damn product and your company. Every week, no matter what, it's the same two assholes fighting over the same damn thing, and they weren't captivating characters like Austin and The Rock. Period. Again, this is so stupid on so many different levels. If you're really looking forward to this on Sunday, then God bless you. You're a better man or woman than I am. I have to call this like I see it. This is the ultimate humbug to us as wrestling fans by the WWE, and I say humbug on their ass. I hope this match falls flat on its face. I hope the people rebel against this match. I hope the people chant for Daniel Bryan or every fucking thing else other than John Cena or Randy Orton during this match on Sunday. That's what I hope happens. I hope in 2014 the WWE starts to snap to it a little bit and comes to their senses and realizes that these two guys, maybe they actually represent a lot of what's wrong with your company today, and maybe you could actually get more out of them if you did more with them and you did different things with them, and especially in the case of John Cena, you occasionally had him lose a fucking match straight up clean. Even the best teams in football or baseball or basketball, they lose fucking games. It happens. People accept. You can't win every time. But somehow John Cena always seems to find a way. Nobody could ever be the better man than him on a given night. There's always got to be some type of excuse. There's always got to be some type of bullshit. It's like when the national sports media tries to stick up and stand up for Peyton Manning every time. Hey, you know what? Great quarterback. Sometimes he doesn't play well. It happens. Sometimes he loses games. It happens. Stop making excuses for the fucking guy. Stop always trying to pass the buck and punt the ball down the road. Sometimes it's on him. It is. Accept it. Good Christ. This is so fucking stupid. I can't believe they couldn't even wait till the Royal Rumble and actually give us a real story to this. They couldn't believe they can't wait until WrestleMania to have these two guys face off. Have it be who's the biggest star of their generation. Then you could actually maybe make this intriguing where people could say, hey, this is just one part of the biggest show of the year. And you could say, I might not want to see it that much. But if it's done in a certain way, no titles involved, just who's the best, these two guys, no bullshit, straight up clean, that could potentially still draw some money as part of a bigger show. What's this match going to draw come Sunday? I think we already know the answer. Humbug on you, WWE, and hope all of you enjoyed this Humbug series. Now let's look forward to the 12 days of OTRSCentral Christmas, huh?